Hello lovelies, welcome back to part 2 of this video. So as you're aware, in part 1 we learned how to do the scarf, and this is it here that is all nice and completed. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, please go ahead and click on that, because you'll be learning how to make this nice spring gentleman scarf that I made for my friend Nathan. And of course, for this part we're going to be working on the hat that matches it. So don't go anywhere, go grab your things, and we'll go ahead and get started on part 2 of this video. See you guys in a bit. This is part 2 of this video. The first part was to make a scarf, and now we're going to make a matching beanie or hat. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the leftover yarn I had from the part 1 of this video. I will not go too much into the details of the yarn. If you need more information, it's going to be in the description box below. But also, if you want me to talk a little bit about the yarn, you're going to go ahead and click in the video where I make the scarf that matches this, so you can see what I'm going to go ahead and put these guys away. We're going to start using the green one to make the band of the hat and maybe a little bit of the body of the hat, and then we're going to be changing it to the blue. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put these guys away so we can get started. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. Just a quick correction, or more of extra information I should say, is that for the scarf we used a 7mm crochet hook, and as you can see here, this heart is super stretchy, and that was kind of the point why I used such a big size crochet hook. But for the hat, I just downed the size to 6mm crochet hook. It's still going to be a nice and loose and fluffy, and chunky, I guess you would say as well, but it's going to still be nice looking. But yeah, so anyways, that's the correction I wanted to make. And so to get the rim of this heart started, we're going to start with our foundation chain, and we're going to go ahead and do our slip knot, and that's how I do my slip knot right here. And then we're going to do a chain of 11. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 and 11. Okay, so that's our chain 11 right there. That's our foundation chain for the rim. And we're going to go ahead and skip this first stitch here and work in the back of this chain. So as you guys can see here, we have these lumps, or what I call bridges, on the back of your foundation chain. That's what we're going to be working through, and we're going to just do a simple single crochet in the back like this. Okay, and then you're just going to do this for the remaining 10 stitches. So we did a chain of 11, but because we don't work in the first chain, it makes it 10 that we actually work into. And you're just going to go ahead and do your single crochets in the back stitch like so. Okay, so go ahead and do that until you get to the end, and when you get to this final one here, come back and I will show you what to do next. Okay guys, so we're at the end of our first row here, which is just a bunch of single crochets that we've worked in the 10 stitches that we created from our foundation chain. As you can see, that's how it looks like. And of course, to go ahead and start row 2, we're going to chain 1, turn our work around, and then continue to do our single crochets, but this time we're going in the back loop only. Okay, and we're going to create these little nice ridges, or what you would call valleys, and I guess hills, or whatever you want to name this, but it's a nice, you guys know I'm obsessed with this, so I always end up doing simple things like this with this kind of stitch. But you're going to do this along your 10 stitches as well until you get to the end. So, and also one thing, you do this in the next 9 stitches. In the 10th one, what I do is I go through both instead of just going through the back loop only, just like that. So that's the end of our second row, and we're going to do a chain 1, turn our work around, and just repeat that until you have the size of your rim that you're looking to have. Or, well, a lot of people say brim as well. I call it rim, but you could call it brim, you could call it band. So there's a lot of names for this. So I'm going to go ahead and do about 70, actually less than that, because I'm using a big size crochet hook. It's going to be super stretchy, so I could do about 60 to 64 rows of this. So let's go ahead and do that, and make sure when you get to the end here, you go through both loops instead of just a back loop to do your single crochet. And then when you get to the size that you're looking for, then come back to the video so we can move on to the next step. But keep in mind, just quickly, you need to know what the circumference of your head is, or the client you're making the hat for is, so you understand how long this number of rows is going to be. So mine is going to be about 62 to 64, which is about 23 inches for the circumference of the head. Okay, so go ahead and find out your size, and then make this the amount of rows that you're looking for to fit your size, and then come back when you're done. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I have completed the number of rows that I require for my band, the headband for the hat or the beanie. So as you can see here, that's what I have. It's nice and rigidy, and it's nice and bumpy, it's nice and wavy, whatever you want to call this pattern. It's nice. But we have it here. I ended up doing 64 rows all together. Okay, and I'm satisfied with the size, so we're going to go ahead and join our rim like this, so we can go ahead and work the hat up like that. Okay, so to do that, just one thing, you guys, I was just get so used to doing these things that I left a long tail that I didn't mention at the beginning of the video. But if you leave a long tail like this when you start your foundation chain, it's gonna be a little bit better. But if you don't, you just have to cut this yarn and then take your darning needle like that, and then put the yarn in, and then just sew this section shut. But because I have this hanging yarn from the foundation chain, I'm going to go ahead and use my darning needle to put that in here. And then I'm going to sew the rim closed right here, so we can actually work in the body of our hat. Okay, so as you can see here, the way the hat ended, or the rim ended, is the working yarn is on this side, and the beginning of the foundation chain was on this side, which is usually a good idea, because then you're going to sew it up like this and then continue working from here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and join our work here. So like I said at the beginning, you should have 10 working stitches, and you're going to use those stitches to kind of shut this area closed here. Okay, so what I usually do is I just go in here for the first one. It's not going through any of the stitches. I'm just gonna go through that right there, do another one just to make sure like we don't have a gap at the beginning of the stitch here. And then we're going to go ahead and go through both of these loops on this side, and on the opposite side we go through the outside only. And I'm going to bring this up just like that. Okay, and then in the next stitch we're going to do the same, and we're going to continue to do this all throughout our project until we get to this end here. And when we get to here, then we're gonna go ahead and start working on the body of our hat. So go ahead and shut your work from here to here. When you get to this end here, come back to the video and I'll show you guys what to do next. Okay guys, so I'm at the end of the this part here where we just kind of sewed the work together. So I have one more, which is the final stitch that I'm going to do here with you guys. And then when we're done that, we can start working on the body of the hat. So that's it here. So as you can see, this is where we joined our work right here. It's visible but not quite visible, so you can kind of just, you know, like it just looks like one of the stitches. And then what you will do with this extra yarn is you will just kind of weave it in. Since you have the darning needle here with you, you will just kind of weave it in nicely and kind of work your way away from the section where the working yarn is. That way you can fasten it off and tie it. So what I'm gonna do right about here is just kind of do something like that, tie it, then I'm going to just knot it like that, and then we're going to cut these off. So let me just go ahead and cut these off here. Okay, and then put our materials away, whatever we don't need. All right, so now we have our brim set. This is how it looks like. This is the part that's already done, and then we're going to go ahead and build up the rest of our hat. Okay, so to do that, I will show you guys what to do next. So we're going to just go ahead and work a single crochet stitch all around the brim. And what I do is I go in this section that kind of protrudes, and then in the valley I put one, and the section that protrudes I do one, and then we go on and keep keep going around like that, okay? Because there are not definite stitches that you need to put your hook into. So what we do is we just go in the valley, in the heel, in the valley, in the heel, and so on and so forth, okay? So go ahead and do your single crochet stitches all around the brim. And when you come back to this section here where we started off, and this is also where we joined our work, then come back to the video and I will show you how to move on to the first row of the actual body of the hat. Okay guys, so I've completed my single crochet stitch around the brim of the hat, and as you can see, I'm back to the beginning here. And so I have one more single crochet to do just right here, and that's it here. So that closes it off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a chain 2, so 1, 2, okay, and then I'm going to do a double crochet stitch in every single stitch around the brim, okay? So we're going to go ahead and start with this very next stitch right here and do a double crochet stitch, and then we're going to do the same in the next stitch, and of course the same in the next stitch, and so on and so forth, okay? So go ahead and do these all around the brim again. So just regular double crochet stitches in every single stitch that we just created by doing the single crochet. And then when you come back to this end right here, you will come back to the video and I will show you guys how to proceed to the next, okay? So okay guys, so I have completed this first row of the double crochet stitch, and as you can see, I'm right at the beginning. I have one more stitch, so we're gonna go ahead and do that together. And then what I will do is on top of this stitch here, I'm going to do a slip stitch, okay, just to connect these two sections here, just like that. So we have joined our work here, and what we will do is we'll just to start the next row, we're going to do a chain 1, turn our work this way, okay, so we can work backwards. And for this next row, I'm going to do a row of single crochet, but we're going to go in the back loop only, okay? So we're going to start from the very next stitch from the hook here, and we're going to do our single crochet, and then pretty much continue to do that in every single stitch around your band here. And then when you get to the end, which is right here, you're going to join your work here by using a slip stitch, chain 2, turn your work around, and then do another row of the double crochet. So if you remember with our hat, we did a row of double crochet, and then the next row was a single crochet in the back loop only. The next row was a double crochet row back loop only, and then and so on and so forth. So we're pretty much trying to repeat this pattern here, okay? So go ahead and do that, and I'm going to do 4 rows total. So this is my row number 2. So the first row is the double crochet row, the second row is the single crochet row, and I'm going to do another row of double crochet, and then finally another row of single crochet, and then I'm going to stop there so we can change the color, and then go ahead and attach our light blue color so we can do the rest of the hat in this color, okay? So go ahead and do that. When you get your 4 rows completed total, or however many rows you wish to do for this color, come back and I will show you what to do to change the color. If you're wishing to do your whole project in the same color, then of course continue to build it up as much as you can, and then come at the end so we can start to reduce, okay? So I will see you guys in a bit. So I have completed my 4th row of these, the body of the hat here. So as you can see, I did my double crochet and then my single crochet, double crochet, and now I'm finishing off my single crochet here, which makes it 4 rows altogether for the body of the beanie, okay? And so what I have left here is I'm just going to go ahead and do my slip stitch right here to connect the 2 parts like this, and this is where we're going to change our color, okay? So I am going to go ahead and cut this yarn off here, just like that, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring our light blue color. This guy here is coming into play, and we're going to connect this so we can build the rest of the hat in this, and this is going to create that like green and sky, so the earth and sky kind of look, okay? So to connect our work here, so what I'll do is I'll just undo the place where I did the slip stitch so we can go ahead and connect our work. So what I will do here is I will actually just go ahead and put my hook right through here like this, and then pull in the blue color just like that, and then pull it like this. Okay, and then I'm going to tighten that a little bit. And then because our next row is going to be a row of double crochet, we're going to go ahead and chain 2, so 1 and 2, and then we're going to turn our work like this, and then we're going to continue to work with our row of double crochet. So we're just going to go ahead and do that right here, and then move on to the next stage. And again, don't forget to work in the back loop only, because we're trying to create this ribbed pattern that you see right here. So this is created because we're doing the back loop work, which is similar to what we did here, but because we're alternating the 2 stitches here, they're more wider. There's more of a gap between these ribs. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and continue to do this until you have the size of your hat. So I'm going to do between 8 to 10 rows. And don't forget, we're going to do, this is a row of double crochet. My next row is going to be a single crochet row. All of it is going to be working in the back loop only. And then my next row after that is going to be of a double crochet, and then the next row after that is going to be of a single crochet, and so on and so forth. So when I'm talking about doing 8 to 10 rows of this color, I am talking about the alternation of those 2 stitches as well. And of course, all of it is being worked in the back loop only. So I'll let you guys go ahead and build up your work to get the size of the hat that you're looking for. When you're comfortable and confident you have that, come back and I will show you guys how to start to reduce, so that our hat can then start to close in on top like this. But before I do that, I'm just going to fasten these up here with you guys, so we don't kind of unravel our work by accident, because that could be super painful for that to happen. So I'm just going to tie this like this. Let's do one more knot. There you go, like that. And then we're going to go ahead and just snip these guys off here, and that's it. And again, if you're the kind of crocheter who weaves in your work, please go ahead and do that. I just prefer to do it this way. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and work with these then until you get the size that you're looking for. I'm going to do 8 to 10 rows and come back to show you guys what to do next. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I have done about 9 rows for this light blue color here. And like I said, when we left off, we had 4 rows of the green color, and then now I've done 9. So we have 13 rows total here. And what I'm going to do now is to start to reduce, so we can start to close off our hat. Okay guys, so we're going to go ahead and start our reduction stitches here. So like I said, I have 9 of these stitches here. We're going to change things a little bit for the reduction stitches. So instead of doing single crochet and alternating it with the double crochet, we're just going to do a half double crochet for the rest of the project, which is to bring it in like this. And to go ahead and get that started, we're going to chain 1, turn our work like this so we can work from the inside. And then we're going to do a half double crochet in the stitch right after your chain 1, and then another half double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so that's so far normal there. And again, we're just going to keep going in the back loop like we have been doing only. Okay, now for the next 2, we're going to do a reduction stitch, and this is how you will do a reduction stitch. You just go like this, like you're supposed to be doing for the half double crochet. But instead of yarning over and pulling it through, you're going to go into the next stitch and bring in 1 more loop through like that. So you're going to end up with 4 loops on the hook like that, and then you're going to pull 3 all 4. Okay, so you just did a reduction there, and we're going to do that for the next 2 as well. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then go into the next stitch and pull it back, and you have 4 loops on the hook, pull through all 4. Okay, and then for the next 2 stitches, we're going to do the regular half double crochet. Okay, and then we're going to move on and do the reduction for the next 2 stitches. Okay, so that's 1, and then in the next stitch we're going to do reduction stitch again. Okay, so all I'm doing here is I started off with 2 half double crochets, and then I used the next 4 stitches to do 2 reductions. Then I did regular half double crochet, and then I did 2 more reduction stitches. And you're going to alternate that all around your hat until you come back here. When you get to here and you connect with you do a slip stitch to connect your sides, you will chain 1, turn your work, and pretty much repeat this, okay? And then you're going to build up your hat until you will see it coming in like this. When you have like about that much of a gap on top, right on top here, come back to the video and I will show you guys how to fasten that off and be done. Okay, so I'll see you guys. Okay guys, so I'm just at the very top here. As you can see, this is how my hat looks like. Okay, so that's how it looks like here. As you can see, it's kind of closing up here, but we need to finish the rest of it together before we can sew it shut, and then we're done. Okay, so we're going to do one more round of just closing this area off, and I'm just going to do one more round of just decrease, and then that should close us off here. Okay, so what I will do here is I will just do a chain 1, and then I'll go ahead and start to do my half double crochet, but we're going to be reducing it. So let me restart that over here. So we're just going to do our half double crochet decreases. There you go. So that's 1, and then we're just gonna go ahead and do this around the remaining space up here so we can fully close it off. And that's it here. Okay, so as you can see, we have just a tiny bit of a gap to go, so I'm going to end this here by cutting off this yarn. We're going to leave the tail a little bit long because we need to be able to put our darning needle in there so we can sew it, but we're going to finish this up here by pulling that through just like that. Oops, sorry about that, just hit the camera. There you go. Okay, so this is the top of it here. Okay, so we're going to take our darning needle and we're going to go ahead and put our yarn in that space here. Okay, and now for this section here, just to close this gap off here, all I'm going to do is we're just going to go and start to connect it to the other side. And with this particular technique here, there is actually not technique at all. You just need to close your gap. So what I do is I just take one, I go one way, and then I come back and I go the other way, and then I'll go back and go this way. Okay, and you just kind of try to close the gap on top as much as you can so that space can be fully shut. And as you can see here, it is. Okay, but I'm just going to kind of play with it a little bit more here to make sure it's fully shut. There you go. We're going to do something else here and we're going to finish it off. Okay, so and one more. There you go. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do a final knot on top there. Let's do that again. I'll use my hand. There you go, and then we're going to just cut these off like that. And what I usually do is I just take my finger and I'm going to just kind of bury that knot in the seam like that. Okay, there you go. So this is all nice and shut here. This is the top of the hat, and as you can see, this is how it looks like. So we're not putting a pom-pom or anything like that, but if you're looking to add a pom-pom for yourself, you can go ahead and make it and add it on. You can go see my previous video where I actually add pom-poms to the hat. That way you can see how I did it, and I also have a video on how to make your own pompons using a pompon maker, so you can also reference that. But for this, we're going to pretty much stop here, and this is how this hat looks like. So hopefully you guys like what you see and you like what you've been making with me. I am going to end the video here. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Hit the like button, hit this the bell button, comment, and just, you know, let's just interact. Let me know what you think, you know, just say hi. Okay, all right, so I'll see you guys in my next video. In the meanwhile, take care of yourselves. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.